Warning, the following podcast has been classified as insanely lucrative. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm now switching to higher priced products. I want to start going towards those larger items, the oversized products that everybody says to stay away from.
Your attention, please. Listening to the AMPM podcast may cause recurring revenue streams and unfair advantages over your competitors. Other side effects may include fatter wallets, fired bosses, and longer vacations. Listen at your own risk. Here's your host, seven-figure entrepreneur and online marketing madman, Manny Coates. Manny Coates.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AMPM podcast. My name is Manny Coates, and I will be your host, and this is the show where we talk about all things Amazon private label and discuss how to generate recurring revenue streams 24 hours per day during the AM and the PM, hence the name of the show, AMPM Podcast. As a matter of fact, I was just partying with some friends for New Year's. Hopefully you guys were as well. And while I was out there having some fun, toasting my buddies, I was making money. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. So guys, this is the first episode of 2017. Happy New Year's to everybody. And as always, when we do these FAQ series episodes, I am joined by my co-host, Guillermo Puyol. Guillermo, Happy New Year, buddy.
Hey, Manny. Happy New Year to you.
How's everything going?
I'm excited for the new year. I'm ready to give a lot of value, learn a ton, and hopefully help a lot of people. So let's do this.
Yeah, you know what? Before we jump into this, we should mention the FAQ series is where we jump into one question, we answer it, and we get out. So we make these podcasts very quick, and we're going to continue to do some of the longer format ones. But yeah, 2016, Guy, man, it was a whirlwind. It was crazy. We started so many different projects. As our longtime listeners know, it was my first full year doing Amazon, right? I started in December of 2015. So 2016 was technically, the 13th month. I got through 13 months. Yeah, I was shooting for that $250,000 goal in sales for by the end of the month, by the end of 2016. And, it just crushed through that. That was a low six-figure number, and we ended up doing seven figures. So I'm going to be talking about that in a podcast later this week, and it's going to be pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a great year. A lot of stuff happened, some good, some bad. It was all exciting, and I guess we'll see what 2017 has in stock for us.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about how to continue the growth rate that we have with everything that we're doing and do it with, less hours than we've been putting in, because you and I have been slaving away like monsters here, to not only do the podcast and our FBA business, but also Helium 10, which has been growing steadily and doing well. And we've got a lot of cool things to talk about in regards to that probably in the coming month, I'd say in the next 30 to 45 days.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's get to the first question. Well, actually, it's not the first, it's the first and only question. I assume you've picked one out for us to answer here?
Yeah, I have a good one. This one was actually picked, as always, from the FBA High Rollers group. And it says, after all Amazon costs, product costs, shipping costs, what is the average dollar amount you aim for when launching a new product? This is before advertising costs.
Before advertising. Okay. So I'm pretty transparent when it comes to my numbers. We go through, at least a handful of times a year, we talk about my monthly numbers and what the actual profit margins are. And I'm usually somewhere around 20 to 25%, depending on advertising and everything else. But they're asking before advertising. My goal when I shoot for a product is typically going to be around 25% of whatever I'm selling it for. So to give you an example, if I'm selling a product for $40, then 25% or one quarter of that is going to be $10. So I'll shoot for $10 per unit. Now, if I have a product that's more expensive, if I'm selling it for $100, I'm going to want to make more than $10 on that unit. So again, if I use that 25% rule in terms of how much profit I want to make off of it, I'd like to get about $25 off of that unit. So if I go back to when I started in December and I was listening to all the guys out there that were doing it at the time, we had the Scott Volkers and Ryan Morans and all those guys. I think they were the ones that were saying, hey, shoot for $10 per unit. Is that right? Something like that? I'm trying to remember back.
Yeah, I think that has been the standard thing. Make sure it fits in a shoebox, make $10 a unit. So that has been pretty much a standard lecture.
And it kind of stuck with me. Back in the day, I was like, you know what? That sounds like a reasonable goal. I've changed it to a percentage, because obviously trying to make a $10 profit off of a $15, product that you're selling is probably not going to happen, right? At least on Amazon. And the same thing, I'm now switching to higher priced products. I want to start going towards those larger items, the oversized products that everybody says to stay away from. I want to sell those things. I want to sell products that are, triple digits, not, $100 plus, not $20. So you have to adjust. And I think you've got to do it based off of percentages. Now, that said, Guy, I'll sometimes adjust things based off of a number of scenarios. So, for example, if something's super high volume, and there's not that much effort required in getting this particular product. So if it's high volume and the cost is relatively low and it's not going to lock up my cash flow, then I don't mind taking less. I'll sell something all day long if I'm making $5 on it and I can sell, 100 units a day and it's $12 product or $15 product. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is a scenario where I'll do that. Also, if I know I'm building up a brand and that brand has, one particular product has the potential to help sell another item in that brand, then that could be another scenario where I do it. So to give you examples, if you have a machine that makes vitamin C capsules, right, and that's a high ticket item, but you can sell the vitamin C powder cheap or at cost, then you could do that. And then, later on you can use various marketing through Facebook or whatever it is to actually drive traffic to the more expensive unit. I'm giving you a really broad example there. It's not something I've even ever researched. I don't even know if there is a machine like that, but that's kind of the example of using a product where you make almost nothing, but it's super high volume and you can use it to drive another product. And also, you've seen this, Guy, where if you're going to buy a product online, and if a lot of people buy, a similar product and both of those are yours, it'll say, add both of these products to your cart. Or people that buy this also buy that. So it's good to get into a scenario where you have multiple products of yours listed that way, and one of them can lead to having the second one tagged to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and this actually reminds me of what Perry was talking about, where they were trying to corner the candle market and they started by selling the wicks. So it's a really high volume, very, very low profit item, but it got the customer and got the eyeballs, and then they were killing it on the back end.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, Manny, because the question was about product costs. So you're not saying that you're aiming for a 25% cost. You want to get a return of 25%, correct?
What was the question specifically? Maybe I misunderstood it. Can you read it again?
Yeah. After all, Amazon costs, product costs, shipping costs, what is the average dollar amount you aim for when launching a new product?
Oh, okay. I took that as profit. So they're saying the average dollar amount for a product? Is that the way you read it?
The way I look at it is they want to know what the average cost is rather than the average profit you want to make.
Oh, well, how do you answer that? Every product is different.
I would say a percentage cost off of the product. So you're saying you want to make 25% off of the sale, want to keep 25% of the sale. So the total cost would be 75%, right? You're not saying 25% of cost.
Well, I'd have to do the numbers and see. So yeah, if I got the product in and, by the time it's landed and I've got everything in and it costs me whatever the amount is going to be, I kind of back into it. I look at how much money do I actually want to make on that particular product. I don't look at it as, I guess I do in the respect that I'll take the product, I'll figure out what the actual landed cost is, and then I'll say if I want to make at least $10 on this particular product or $15 or whatever the amount is, then I add it in there. But in the end, it almost always works out to be about 25% of the actual selling price is going to be the amount that I profit. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm not really looking at, well, okay, if I buy this for $2 and I add this and add that and I add that, then it comes out to this amount. I guess there's different ways you can do it with the math.
Okay, cool.
But every product is going to be different. Yeah. So your cost on selling, some kind of a heavy, kitchen machine of some kind is going to be different than if you're selling, a little notebook of paper, whatever it might be. So I guess it just comes down to how much profit you want to make. And also keep in mind, if it typically works out that if you're trying to drive a lot of profit out of a product and, and you've got competitors, your price point's probably going to be higher than what theirs is at, and it's going to slow down your volume, right? So you're going to have to, that's another thing you've got to look at, right? That is going to impact and influence what price point you're actually selling at and how much profit you're going to be making. Because although I'd like to make $10 on a profit or $10 profit on a product, I might not be able to. Okay. If I have a lot of competitors that have come in and they're disrupting the market, right? I'm pretty solid with everybody, but then let's say I got 2 or 3 guys in there that are really starting to pull some sales for me. I might have to adjust my price down. And if my costs haven't changed, then maybe that's going to be a point where instead of making $10, I'm now going to make $7 per unit. And I've done that on some products. Typically, I'm the highest priced product out of all my competitors because of how I leverage things. But there's been times where, I have to lower the price. Otherwise, I start losing those sales.
Yeah.
So, well, if that answers the question, sorry guys if I misunderstood how the question was supposed to be, but I think we've answered it both ways. If you guys have more questions, head over to our FBA High Rollers group. That's what it's called. If you go to Facebook and you type in FBA High Rollers in the search field, you'll see us pop up. And you can also go to our website at ampmpodcast.com, and there'll be a Facebook link somewhere on the right side. It's also got a link for all the tools and services that we recommend. Okay, these are things that we use ourselves, or we know people that use them with great success. So check that out. And I think our Facebook group now is, we're really, really close now, Guy, right? To 15,000 members.
Yeah, we're right around the corner.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we appreciate it. There's a lot of stuff going on in the group. So definitely check it out. It's hard for me to even keep up anymore with so many members in there. It's nuts. So it's awesome though. Check that out. Anything else, Guy, you want to add?
No, I just look forward to the next question. So just make sure that you ask them on the Facebook group or send them straight to us and we'll get those answered for you.
Yep. And if you haven't subscribed yet to the podcast, make sure you do that, whether it's on iTunes or wherever it is that you can subscribe so you don't miss anything. And we have a notification page also, or notifications now on our ampmpodcast.com website. So just select yes to that and you'll be notified. So guys, hope you enjoyed it. My name is Manny Coates. I'm here with Guillermo Puyol. We'll talk to you guys next time. If you like this episode, definitely check out episode 95. It's part of our FAQ series, and in that episode, we talk about how to exit a failed private label product on Amazon. Episode 95. Hey guys, Manny Coates here. If you've been following my podcast, you know I'm a huge fan of the Helium 10 tools for Amazon sellers. I only use the best tools out there, and the Helium 10 suite of tools are, in my opinion, best in class. Now, just because I'm the founder of Helium 10 doesn't mean that's all I use, right? I go where the money's at, and if there's a tool on the market that I haven't made and that tool helps me make money, I'll use it, and I'll talk about it here on the podcast, and I'll even link to it in our tools section at the ampmpodcast.com website. But I can honestly say that there's no place that I know of where you can get all the important tools that an FBA seller would need in one place, where the tools work with one another to help you save time and make you a lot of money. Now, the Helium 10 tools have had a huge hand in helping me go from zero to over $1 million in Amazon sales in just 10 months. Okay, keyword research, listing optimization, and a super tool called 5K Checker that makes sure that the words in my listings, okay, the front end and the back end, are actually indexed by Amazon. And guys, if you're not checking this, you're leaving money on the table for sure, because Amazon is always tweaking their search engine. Okay, so I always use 5K Checker every single month on every single one of my listings to ensure that my listings are still indexed for my keywords and that I'm still pulling in customers like crazy. If you're a longtime listener, you know I'll never use a tool unless it can save me a lot of time or it's gonna make me a lot of money. So I'm confident Helium 10 will do this for you guys, all right? There's a money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Check it out. Head over to helium10.com. Helium10.com. That's helium10.com.
You've been listening to the AM/PM podcast hosted by Manny Coates. For more information, insider tools, and to get the resources mentioned in this episode, visit ampmpodcast.com.